If you aren't confused by quantum mechanics, you haven't really understood it. An expert is a man who has made all the mistakes which can be made, in a narrow field. Prediction is very difficult, especially if it's about the future. A physicist is just an atom's way of looking at itself. Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real. If quantum mechanics hasn't profoundly shocked you, you haven't understood it yet. No paradox, no progress. Every great and deep difficulty bears in itself its own solution. It forces us to change our thinking in order to find it. In the great drama of existence, we are audience and actors at the same time. No, you're not thinking, you're just being logical. When we measure something, we are forcing an undetermined, undefined world to assume an experimental value. We are not measuring the world, we are creating it. Never express yourself more clearly than you are able to think. One must always do what one really cannot. Opposites are not contradictory but complementary. If we couldn't laugh at ourselves, that would be the end of everything. If anybody says he can think about quantum physics without getting giddy, that only shows he has not understood the first thing about them. When it comes to atoms, language can be used only as in poetry. There are trivial truths and the great truths. The opposite of a trivial truth is plainly false. The opposite of a great truth is also true. Nothing exists until it is measured. Physics is the belief that a simple and consistent description of nature is possible. We all know your idea is crazy. The question is whether it is crazy enough. The opposite of every great idea is another great idea. Every valuable human being must be a radical and a rebel, for what he must aim at is to make things better than they are. There are some things so serious you have to laugh at them. The best weapon of a dictatorship is secrecy, but the best weapon of a democracy should be the weapon of openness. The opposite of a fact is falsehood, but the opposite of one profound truth may very well be another profound truth. Accuracy and clarity of statement are mutually exclusive. Every sentence I utter must be understood not as an affirmation, but as a question. It is the hallmark of any deep truth that its negation is also a deep truth. The meaning of life consists in the fact that it makes no sense to say that life has no meaning. Truth and clarity are complementary. There are two sorts of truth: trivialities, where opposites are clearly absurd, and profound truths, recognized by the fact that the opposite is also a profound truth. If you think you understand it, that only shows that you don't know the first thing about it. It is not enough to be wrong, one must also be polite. We are suspended in language. An expert is a man who has made all the mistakes which can be made, in a narrow field. It is a great pity that human beings cannot find all of their satisfaction in scientific contemplativeness.